Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. Joining us now is OjyOkpe with stories trending around the world. Hello, G.
Good morning,
thank God
Dr.
it's Friday.
TGIF. How are you this morning? It's my favorite day of the week, and you know there are implications.
Ufa is not here, so
you know what that means? And he was the one that gingered the whole thing. But patience. How are you this morning?
I'm very good.
Perfect.
You never disappoint.
Yes. I'm just joking. I think today might be, I don't know. That's how I did last weekend. How are you, Dr. Abati, this morning?
Good. I'm
well,
fine.
all right.
Yeah.
We're missing Rufai Oseni today. Well, a good morning to you, viewers. Let's begin what's trending. Senators from the Southeast Caucus walked out of the chamber on Thursday after the Senate rejected for the second time a motion to immortalize the late Humphrey Nwosu, former chairman of the National Electoral Commission. The lawmakers urged President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to honor Nwosu's legacy in a show of protest. The Southeast senators, led by Enyinnaya Abaribe, stormed out of the chamber to address the press. Abaribe told journalists that the caucus was displeased with the Senate's decision to reject the motion. Let's take a look.
If there was no election, there wouldn't have been any June 12. Don't forget that there was a court order that was done by Justice Remi to stop the election, and he defied that court order and pushed back and made sure that an election held. If that election was not conducted, you won't be talking of results, and there will be no June 12. So as far as we are concerned, Professor Nwosu deserves this honor. Thank you.
While the lawmakers who rejected the motion to immortalize the late Humphrey Nwosu debated passionately on the motion on the floor of the Senate, Solomon Adeola, the lawmaker representing Ogun West, said the late Humphrey Nwosu failed to salvage Nigeria's democracy during the annulled election. Adeola claimed that he lost his brother due to the event of June 12 and insisted that Nwosu did not deserve recognition. Let's take a look.
As a result of the action and inaction of Professor Humphrey Nwosu, I lost my immediate junior brother. He died right behind me for him refusing to do or carry out his duty as INEC chairman. Mr. President, many of my colleagues have stood up here and said he conducted the free and fairest election. There are three different meanings and three different interpretations that we should look at: conducting election, releasing results, and announcing results. Yes, he conducted the election. Yes, school of thought said he releases all the results. But you and I know releasing results is not the same thing as announcing results. He failed at the critical moment when he's supposed to salvage this democracy. Professor Humphrey Nwosu, with due respect to him, because it's now late, does not deserve to be immortalized as one of the very few Nigerians that have done the right thing.
While Senator Adams Oshiomhole also rejected the motion to immortalize Humphrey Nwosu, he argued that Nwosu and the then military head of state, Ibrahim Babangida, deceived Nigerians by conducting the June 12 election only for it to be annulled.
Nigerians were really in pain because nobody is able to quote where Professor Nwosu announced the results. It is his failure to announce the result, whether other threat or other whatever forces that prevented him from so doing, that Nigerians were unable to say that he was declared the winner. In fact, I was active in that struggle. If Professor Nwosu had had the courage, I emphasize courage, as is being suggested here, to announce the winner and damn the consequences. After all, he who is not ready to die for something will end up dying for nothing. I'm on record as saying that Professor Nwosu and President Babangida fooled 18 million Nigerians that voted. Nwosu is not on record before his death as admitting that before I die, let me confess that there was a winner.
Well, Adamso Shomole here saying that the late Humphrey Nwosu was not ready to die for Nigeria, and therefore, he doesn't consider him a hero. Well, the senators at that time, that walked out, the senators, the Southeast senators, had urged President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to ensure that he immortalizes who we described yesterday on this table, Ayo, as the hero of democracy. But before I come to you guys, I'd like to play this clip. Here is late Professor Nwosu in this viral video where he mentioned several names of those he said were involved in the schemes that led to the annulment of the June 12th election. Let's take a look.
There was someone at the level of the National Defense, Security and Defense Council,
headed by Babangida.
Babangida and Abacha was prominent. I reported, well, sir, the law that allowed us to conclude this election made no provision for this technical body, for your committee. You should allow us to conclude the result with that of Taraba and announce it, or you call in Abiola and negotiate with him. You shouted on me, who are you to tell us what to do? You are not a member of National Defense and Security Council. You are not. The council and the court decided you should not conduct the election. You went ahead and conducted the election, that it was illegal. You will recall, throughout Abacha's regime, his Minister for Information regarded our election as illegal.
They're saying at that time, the administration had regarded that election as illegal throughout the tenure of Abacha at the time as well. I mean, Enyinnaya Abaribe has charged President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to actually do the right thing by this man, who will be buried, I believe, on Saturday this weekend in Anambra State. And, he said that this man led the freest and fairest election in Nigeria's history, and he's wondering why such a man has not been recognized by the federal government of Nigeria. Dr. Abati, over to you.
Okay, we discussed this subject yesterday,
yes.
But I think it's come up afresh because Senator Enyinnaya Abaribe now went back and represented, that motion. Now, there were 15 senators, all the senators from the Southeast, also supported by Senator Abamoro, Senator Adamu Aliero, Senator Yahaya Abdullahi, both from Kebbi now, and Senator Ned Nwoko, and then, of course, there was a voice vote. At that voice vote, of course, we were also told that the thing was shouted down, upon which the lawmakers, worked out to have a press conference. Now, this is why we're saying there should be e-voting, so that we will know who voted what. All these are magical voice votes that the presiding officer can just decide. We don't know whether they even conduct hearing tests, for some of these people who conduct government meetings. But in Parliament, if, there is proper e-voting, we will have definite outcome. That's number one. Number two, some of the respondents said, on the floor of the Senate. Let me start with Senator Adamso Shomole. Senator Adamso Shomole was saying that at no time did Professor Humphrey Nwosu declare that Adeola actually won that election. You've shown the video, which showed his mind at that time. Now, in the book, I mentioned his book yesterday, Laying the Foundation, my personal account of the June 12, 1993 presidential election. That book was published in 2008, 474 pages, and I believe it's still in circulation. If Senator Shomole had read that book, he would have found where in that book that Professor Nwosu wrote that, in fact, Abiola won the election decisively.
Right.
And that his victory was endorsed by both political parties at the collation center before the annulment. That is clear enough. But you know what they say. If you don't want a black man to see anything, just hide it in the book. But that book is still available. Hopefully, some people will go and read it. Now, Senator Adeola was making the point. He said he was not making a partisan statement. He was talking from a personal angle that he lost his brother. Indeed, there were many people that died during that struggle. Nobody could say that it was Professor Humphrey Nwosu that personally carried guns to kill people. It was the military junta. And Babangida, as head of state at that time, I said that it was Abacha-led forces that stopped the announcement of the results. Now, the general, he that had the box stopping at his table, he as president and head of state of Nigeria, he ran away from the junta. He could not assert himself. Is it Professor Humphrey Nwosu that was just appointed as INEC chairman that will now stand up to the Abacha-led forces? No, it's not possible. And then finally, what are the prayers of Senator Enyinnaya Abaribe and the others? They are saying he laid the foundation of the headquarters of INEC and he has started building it. They say, okay, the minimum that the government can do is to name that INEC headquarters after him. Professor Yakubu Mahmood, who was speaking at service of songs in his honor this same week, also made such a recommendation and said that Nwosu was a trailblazer and many lessons could be learned from the foundation that he has laid. Now he took over from Professor Emeawa. That in itself, can they take it away from him that he laid the foundation of that INEC headquarters that everybody else is using today? Number two, about national honor. Even if they don't want to give him national honor, they should realize, those who are opposing Nwosu and saying he cannot be immortalized, should realize that many of the people who urinated on the legacy of June 12, they have been given national honors. Yes. Including Ambassador Babagana Kingibe, who was running mate to Abiola. He has been given GCON. And yet he was one of the first to jump ship and abandon the June 12 struggle. Many other persons who have been governors, who have been given national honors, these were people who betrayed June 12. People who betrayed Chief MKO Abiola, they've been given national honors. Even his achievement as a scholar, absolutely. Professor Humphrey Nwosu as a distinguished scholar, even that qualifies him more to be on the national honors list than all the undeserved, funny people that always show up on the national honors list every year. And that's why I think that they have a good case. Those Abaribe team and supporters, they have a good case. Although some people have been saying there was cowardice. Yeah. There was Newswatch wrote 2 editorials in 1993 abusing Professor Nwosu. Please, how many families will allow their children to go and face bullets because of Nigeria, and you say that is cowardice? Yeah. He was working under the military.
Under the military. You said it very correctly, Dr. Abati. I'd like your thoughts, Ayo, about the senator representing Ogun West, Adeola, who said that, Humphrey Nwosu failed to deliver Nigeria's democracy and that his brother died during the whole annulment period.
Adeola on the loss of his brother. And in the same vein, I sympathize with all Nigerians who lost people, lost property, lost dignity, lost time during that period. But the fact that we're even having a conversation around whether or not Professor Nwosu deserves this honor is a big problem in itself. And I'll give reasons for that. The first thing is that we will not be talking about June 12 elections and the repercussions if we didn't have a man who was bold enough and brave enough in the face of military pressure to conduct what is said to be the freest and fairest election, one we've not seen in over 30 years since then. That in itself, he deserves accolades for that. We all know what happened during the Babangida years, during the Abacha years, and it must have taken a lot of courage for him to have done that. It is difficult to work alone when you're standing up for the right things. And so when you have people around you who are not willing to support you, yet you were still able to go ahead to conduct that election, that man ought to be celebrated. On the other side of things, isn't it ironic that the person whom the buck stopped with had a book launch the other day, and people who were even victims of June 12 elections and the repercussions were there to raise 16 billion naira for him, almost change the course of history, rewrite history, and we're talking about him in glowing terms. He wants to build a presidential library, and people are supporting him. That very man deserves accolades, but the one who was bold enough to conduct the first and fairest election does not deserve the honor that we're asking for. It doesn't make any sense.
Absolutely.
And so that's why, what is the persuasion for Nigerians to do right? What is the persuasion for Nigerians to lay down their lives? And that's why I asked the question, is Nigeria worth dying for? Because when you you risk your life and do all these things, they say no. But when you run away, at least the only thing, just make sure you survive. And the longer you live, the more history will be, will tilt in your favor. Finally, this is why the importance of teaching history in schools is important.
Absolutely.
The Southeast senators, one of the things they must also do, must make sure that history is not rewritten to make Professor Humphrey, let them tell the side of the story so that Nigerian children today and tomorrow will read the real story of what happened during June 12 elections and the real heroes of that time.
Well said, both of you. Well said. Thank you for your submission. We'll take another story now. The Delta State Commissioner for Information and Works, Rural Roads, Charles Anyago, has clarified the viral video showing some nursing students in the state singing a call and praise song during the visit of the First Lady of Nigeria, Senator Remi Tinubu, in the state. Anyago stated that the viral video conveyed messages that were at variance with the scenario at the moment. Well, let's listen to what he had to say.
The wife of the president, in the course of the presentation on the first day, apologized to nurses. Why was that apology? Because this particular tranche of the visit and the giveaways had to do with midwives.
I officially hand over these professional kits comprising of 10,000 scrubs and 10,000 pairs of Crocs to the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency for homeward distribution to our midwives in the South-South zone. I see that the nurses are not too happy with me. You will see why. Where I got the funding to kit the midwives. So, but you look very nice too in your white uniform. So if I happen to have more funding, maybe we'll be able to reach out to the nurses as well.
All right, well, thanks, Charles Anyago, for that clarification. But the conversation was that the reason why the nursing students were singing, against the First Lady was because, they are angry with the situation of the economy. But now we have this video where the First Lady is saying it's because she did not give the nursing students, she didn't put them as part of the donation. She donated 10,000 scrubs for midwives and not for nurses as well. But before I come to you, a nursing student from Delta School of Nursing in Agbo, Chioma, has come out to state that the viral video of the nursing students singing against the First Lady are not affiliated with the school. Well, let's take a look.
The song that the MC raised, although he asked us to sing along, but Agbo students, we did not partake in that song. Although we were singing because he asked us to sing along, but we did not sing "Na Your Mama Be This." Please, we beg in God's name. I don't know, the girl that posted this video and captioned it that the president's wife came to Agbo, our school. Please disregard the information. She did not come to Agbo. The event was held in Asaba, and Agbo students did not partake in that song, "Na Your Mama Be This." So different nursing schools and different schools of midwifery, they were present in that very event. So I don't know why Agbo is just trending. Please, we beg in God's name, the event was not held in Agbo. So thank you and God bless you.
All right. Chama here is saying that the event was not in Agbo. I mean, I don't know why that's even a conversation, because we all know that she was in Asaba, but it was the nursing schools from Agbo that, you know, a nursing student actually from that school, I believe, that posted the viral video, which I believe has even come under threat. I've seen some newspaper clippings and some things on Twitter saying that, you know, the student from that school who actually posted that viral video is about to face disciplinary action or something like that because it goes against their school. If we can just pull up this Anambra First Son's tweet, I think this is another school, I believe. I think he wrote here, Remi Tinubu is bringing her rascality to the Delta School of Nursing. But I want to know the name of this school. It says Delta State College of Nursing Sciences. So this one is the actual letter that was put out from that school saying that, you know, this student who posted that video is going to face disciplinary action. But let us just sum up this conversation, really. Ayo, let me start with you in terms of that clarification from Charles Anyago. I mean, obviously, the nursing students were still upset. Yeah. That's the bottom line of the whole story.
Right, I don't know if I buy that, but Mr. Charles Anyago is within his rights to come and give explanations. But one of the first things I like, why do we like to major on the minor?
Yes.
Of all things, you come to a school, and we applaud the First Lady's generosity. Absolutely. We've talked about this a number of times, and she was donating, and Delta State was one of the many states in that region that she was going to donate to the students. Now, they went to the school. If allegedly they put up a video that they sang a song, the people did not accept it, what is the big deal? And then, you know, sometimes we should ask this question, what is the big... If they don't like... You can't force people to like or accept everybody. It's not possible. We have to really check this intolerance for dissenting voices or people who don't particularly... It can be even a hairstyle. It can be the manner. If they say she's not there, but what is the big deal? That you had to release a press statement. The student who released the video on TikTok, Nurse Osato Edobo, is under investigation. Yes, that letter has query for divulging unauthorized online publication, video, social media, on TikTok, Facebook, etc. And it is the provost of Delta State College of Nursing Sciences. Her name is Ewodare Rita Ogone, Mrs. that wrote that signed that letter and stamped it 27th of March 2025. Why? And it reminds us of the same issues that happened with the NYSC student. They're saying, oh, your rule book doesn't allow you. It's when things like this happen, they begin to bring out rule books that people don't even pay. The important things they don't face. Why is it so important for everybody to like the First Lady? That's the first question. If the student said they didn't want her or regard her as a mother, what is the big deal? So I think one of the biggest questions, and no one should be victimized for this. We don't want to have the legacy of this administration where people's rights are trampled upon arbitrarily. Freedom of expression and freedom of speech is a thing of the past, and people cannot... In fact, what criticisms like this should make you investigate is why were they upset, why were they dissatisfied, and then begin to, as a mother, address those issues. Oji, if you are the mother of the nation, as a mother, if your children complain, will you punish them or would you listen to them and say, okay, what is your grouse? Everything is match, kill, stop, disciplinary. We need to stop that culture. It is not proper and it shouldn't be encouraged at all.
Okay, go ahead.
I think the point that needs to be made is the point that we made yesterday.
Yes.
That all things considered, the First Lady of the Federal Republic deserves commendation.
Yes, we said that.
For the supportive role that she has been playing and for the various efforts that she has been making to encourage persons, you know, either students or women at all levels in this country. What she went to do in Delta State, as I pointed out yesterday, was to further promote support for HIV/AIDS, hepatitis, syphilis treatment in the light of the fact that the US, the Global Fund, they've all withdrawn major support for healthcare in Nigeria. Now that the United States is saying we are going to cut aid. In fact, in the spring statement by Chancellor in the UK, Rachel Reeves, she also said the defense spending that they are going to increase to 2.5% of GDP. They are also going to cut down on international aid. So we should look at the big picture. And from the video you showed this morning, she said, look, on that occasion with the nursing students, she had made preparations for midwives. But as she has noted that The nursing students, you know, will also need support. And if she were to get more funding, she has noted their concern and she will get back to them. There is nothing wrong in that statement that she has made. If anything, she deserves commendation. We said this much yesterday. We repeat it again this morning. As for the school authorities, Delta School of Nursing Sciences, you call it, we urge the provost of that school to withdraw that vexatious, offensive disciplinary letter immediately. A school of learning is not a military unit. It's not a place where you violate the right of students and dictate to them what they should say, what they should post on social media. That is not part of the responsibility of the provost of that school. Our responsibility is to make sure that those people receive proper training and to see that, you know, they're encouraged to focus on their work. The First Lady has given scrubs. It's a piece of clothing that nurses and midwives wear. And she has already promised their own will come to them.
Absolutely.
Now, the event that the lady posted, for whatever reason, did it take place or not?
It took place.
If it is something that took place, there's a justification of truth. And I'm sure that Senator Remi Tinubu herself is experienced enough politically to know that you cannot please everybody.
Yes.
People will praise you today, they will abuse you tomorrow. So that is the reality in politics.
Yes,
and, you know, the fact that the commissioner was explaining, well, the thing is already very clear, you know, and then whether it took place in Asaba or it took place in Agbo, no, the place is irrelevant.
Yes.
You know, there's no need for any cover-up.
Yes.
Any reasonable person will know that the woman means well, meant well, and she should be commended.
Like we said yesterday, I mean, kudos to Senator Remi Tinubu for her renewed Hope Health initiative. Yeah. I mean, we were applauding her yesterday, especially given the fact that she's not only doing it in the South. She's done it. She started her whole program in the North, as you know, just giving out, you know, health supplies, building those facilities, donating relief items. And she said, I am sorry, midwives, I mean, the nurses, this time is for midwives because of my budget. This time around, I will go through my budget and I will come and see you guys all look lovely. So thank you, Dr. Bati, for, you know, admonishing that letter from that school. And, you know, we need to make sure that we practice true democracy in this country. Again, kudos, Senator Remi Tinubu. Now, we would like to pay tribute to Abisola Kola Daisy, the first daughter of the late Bola Ahmed, a former governor of Oyo State, who passed away on Thursday at the age of 44. Abisola, as she is fondly called, was said to have been battling with breast cancer for several years. She died at a hospital in the United Kingdom, although the cause of her death remains unknown. Before her passing, she served as a special advisor to the Minister of Budget and Planning, Atiku Bagudu. She survived by her husband, Kolakbo Kola Daisy, her 3 children, and her mother, Florence Ajimobi.
It's been a long day without you, my friend. And I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again.
What a beautiful soul. Dr. Abati, I remember meeting this young woman at the Arise Fashion Week, and she was so gracious. Really, when you meet people that have met her, to just speak of her in the positive manner, the positive light, and she's brought in so much for her family and really the society at large. We're not just the only ones condoling with her family. We know that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has extended his condolences to Florence Ajimobi. His statement reads, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has expressed his heartfelt condolences to Mrs. Florence Ajimobi, wife of the former governor of Oyo State, on the passing of her beloved daughter, Mrs. Abisola Daisy. In a poignant conversation with the bereaved mother on Thursday, President Tinubu conveyed his deep sympathy to the family during this time of profound loss, acknowledging the unexpected and heart-wrenching departure of a cherished daughter, devoted wife, and mother of 3. President Tinubu also extended his prayers and support to Mrs. Kola Daisy's husband, family, friends, and associates, remembering her as warm-hearted, industrious, and charitable. He highlighted the enduring impact of Mrs. Kola Daisy's contributions as a successful businesswoman and a trusted public servant in an advisory capacity whose wise counsel in budgeting and financing was invaluable. President Tinubu prayed for Almighty God's grace to receive her soul and provide comfort and strength to her survivors. And that statement was released by Bayo Ononuga today. Well, also, Arise News Channel extends its heartfelt condolences to the Ajimobi family on the passing of Abisola Kola Daisy, daughter of late former Oyo State Governor Abiola Ajimobi. The station also extends its sympathies to the Kola Daisy family during this difficult time, praying for strength and comfort for all who mourn her loss. Well, may her soul rest in perfect peace. Ayo.
Yeah, I'd like to say, because I knew her and met her personally. She was an accomplished woman, and like I posted earlier on, that it's unbelievable. You're spot on saying that when you know the person that is Abisola Kola Daisy, she was a sweet soul.
Yes.
She had a charity foundation where she catered to young people, was also part of her mom's ABC foundation. She was a special advisor to the Minister of Budget and National Planning, who also released a statement to talk about her hard-working nature, diligent young Nigerian, firstborn and a true Olori in her family. It is so sad, and I can't imagine what they're going through. I just pray that God will comfort them at this time. She was a beautiful soul, a beautiful human being, and a treasured young Nigerian.
Absolutely. Dr. Bati.
Well, again, our condolences to the Ajimobi family, and particularly Mrs. Florence Ajimobi, who has had to go through this after losing her husband. Shortly after, eldest daughter has also gone to the grave beyond. It can be very traumatic for any woman, for any parent at all, to even lose a child at whatever age. So we pray that God will console her and also be with the family, and also with the Kola Daisy family.
Absolutely.
But beyond all of this, I think this should also be another wake-up call for the Nigerian government to invest more in cancer research and treatment, cancer advocacy. There are many groups in Nigeria who are doing that at the moment, but not enough is being done. And every time somebody falls as a result of cancer, which is a major problem, even in Nigeria here, I think it should be a wake-up call for us to invest more in that area of medical research.
Well said. I'd like to thank you all for your great analysis. I'm sorry we had to end What's Trending on a bad note. Again, may Abisola's gentle soul rest in peace. That's all I have for you guys on What's Trending today. I'll see you all next week.